The Meewasin Valley Authority has been a crown jewel in the city of Saskatoon for many years. Doug Porteous is here today and giving us some insight into what the Meewasin Valley Authority, or the MVA, is planning for the upcoming year and in the midst of the changes and challenges that we all face. Doug, thank you for making time today, and hope we can talk a little bit about the MVA.
Well, it's great being here with you. Now, you're such a sharp dresser that
Oh,
I went out and bought a new tie last night,
well,
so
I was going to say, that looks
program.
like a new tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife said I probably won't look good beside you, but thank you for having me here.
Great to have you here.
Wise people with great vision created Meewasin years ago. What they wanted was a conserved river valley. They wanted it developed for free public access, and they wanted a say in how it was being developed. And now we are something like 38 years later. Now, 25 years later, Paul Hanley wrote in his book, 25 Years in the Life of a River Valley, which is the story of Meewasin. This would be in 2004. By anyone's measure, the Meewasin Valley project, first envisioned by master planner Raymond Moriyama in 1978, has been an outstanding success. Overcoming early opposition, Meewasin has grown in its 25 years at that time to become one of the most popular and appreciated organizations in the Saskatoon region. Today, over 1 million visits are made to the award-winning Meewasin Trails annually. Features like Beaver Creek Conservation Area, Wanuskewin Heritage Park, Cranberry Flats, Gabriel Dumont Park, River Landing 1 and 2, and the Meewasin Riverworks Weir redevelopment are treasured assets and a community shaped by the South Saskatchewan River. This has been a story of extraordinary accomplishment, created by the province, the city, and the University of Saskatchewan, shaped by dedicated directors and staff, and supported by an army of volunteers, taxpayers, and donors. Meewasin has fulfilled its mission to create a healthy and vibrant river valley and a balance between human use and conservation. And the story has just begun. So that was, what, in 24? That was about 13 years ago. And we're now into 38 years, and all still exists. We've now added the swale, the northeast swale. We've added the Saskatoon natural grasslands, conservation areas, wetlands that need to be conserved, preserved. Yes, we had a budget that was of concern to us. We're down about 17% this year. We've had to make some unpopular choices, but I think if we can get long-term sustainable funding in the future, Meewasin is going to be here for the rest of the 100-year plan.
Do you see an opportunity maybe for a lot more of the private sector to get involved with sponsorships and donations and just the general public as a whole?
Well, they're very involved right now. In the past 38 years, Meewasin has spent $100 million in park and trail development, conservation, education programs. And of that, the city of Saskatoon has only had to come up with 20 million. 40%, 40 million, has come from those private donors, non-statutory or non-government sources. So $40 million is pretty good, and it is significant. What's important now is that we, for example, our statutory money last year, or the money that came from the city, the province, and university, was $2.5 million. But our budget was $4.5 million. So that meant there was a $2 million increase that was leveraged as a result of the basics. So it's been a great money raiser for the leveraging for the city of Saskatoon, but also for the province. 50% of provincial money went in, and 40% of our crown land is provincial land. Eradicating intrusive plants, for example, since 1998, Meewasin has taken care of over 1 million stems of buckthorn. Now, European buckthorn is an invasive plant that is destroying our natural areas. Purple loosestrife, leafy spurge. And if we don't get rid of these intrusive plants, we're going to become a dry wasteland. So the only group that's doing that right now, basically, are the people at Meewasin. And we have 2 people that are working hard on it. Every summer we get summer students that will support them, getting up to 6, 7 people. However, we aren't able to afford summer students this year. So private money is very important to get the matching grants.
I think that's a good point to touch on, that it opens the door, I think, for some opportunities for the MVA. I know your CEO and I were sitting side by side in the legislative buildings when the budget came down, and that was just a moment to reflect on about, what next. But I really believe in my heart that the MVA is here to stay, and in what form and how it will exist, it still remains to be seen. It's a very fluid organization. But the residents and the citizens have a passion for it. So there's that groundswell of support you can tap into. Do you see the role changing, maybe not so much expansion of trails, but maybe improving, widening trails or general upkeep and the maintenance right now with what you know?
Well, that's all part of it. For example, on Spadina right now, you can see there's a lot of trees, a lot of Manitoba maple and that. They've come to basically the end of their natural life. They're being cut down right now. Our trail surveys show that is the greatest area of a congestion on the trails, of people walking, running, rolling. And so what we're doing is going to be widening the trail by a meter or so, just to make that a safer area. All of these now are dependent on grants. So the City of Saskatoon is funding it, but also the Canada 150 Fund is funding it. We apply for grants, and then the city's matching money with Meewasin money will make that happen. So this is probably the changing that I see is that the government of Saskatchewan sees Meewasin as being an urban park. Now, I would argue with that a bit because we're unique, but sees Meewasin as an urban park and wants the city to take more responsibility in the funding. And so they have changed the act that they gave us $500,000 this year. That was 50% of what they gave us last year. This is government of Saskatchewan. The money that they flow through to the university, which is about $670,000, that they gave to the university. However, they've removed the requirement in the act. So at the end of this year, when next year comes, the government and the university are no longer required in the Meewasin Act of 1979 to fund Meewasin. That will just leave the city of Saskatoon. Now, I can understand where they're coming from, because a lot of people in the rural communities are saying, I don't live in Saskatoon. Why is my tax money going that way? So we have to get long-term sustainable funding. What's happening now, because we have had to reduce or cut back our programs and services by 17%, the average person out there who uses them, who never really understood about Meewasin, didn't know that Meewasin was a nonprofit association, that it was a partnership with the city, province, and university, that the Meewasin leverages money and runs conservation, development, and education programs. Now they're starting to find out. They're saying, well, how come this is happening? Doesn't the city pay for this? Doesn't my tax money? No, Meewasin is a nonprofit. And as they learn about the association and learn about how they can support it, we'll be much better off. And we have a fund development department we asked them to raise about $1 million a year. When you look at River Landing, we went to the province and we said, nothing is happening downtown in River Landing 1. You give us $4 million and we'll raise another 10. We'll get River Landing 1 done and then see what happens. And you're in Riversdale area there, River Landing 2, look what's happening in that area, and the connection and the loop of the trails, the South Bridge. What a beautiful thing we have in the city. It was created and there because of Meewasin, the city, the province, and the university working together to manage the riverbank lands through one association.
You're exactly right about that, and I think you're mentioning about the partnerships and the opportunities there. This is not a finished project by any stretch of the imagination. The MVA has been around for almost 40 years and hopefully another 40. And what form it's going to take, I think we're still waiting to see. The need you mentioned for consistent and predictable funding, I think is very true and strikes at the heart of everything here. What are your options then with regards to this upcoming year? If we can just touch on 2017, we've got the expansion near the Children's Discovery Museum, the old Mendel. What else would we see for 2017 based on what we know now?
We're still going out to eradicate intrusive plants. We're working on that. Beaver Creek Conservation Area is still open. The skating rink downtown was on the table. It could have been, the outdoor skating rink. We have that open. We have 30,000 skaters a year. They don't have to pay. A lot of families, new immigrant families, come in there and they're able to skate from noon till 9 at night, open New Year's Eve, open Christmas Eve, and just a great 80 to 100 days the rink is open, 30,000 skaters, and there's no charge. What a wonderful thing in downtown Saskatoon. But it costs us $100,000 a year to operate. Tim Hortons came through and gave us $20,000. We're looking for sponsorship. We do have a sponsor that we think we might have, and if that's the case, then we'll be able to operate that program. The swale. We've got all the communities in that part of Saskatoon, out in the north east area on that side of the river in Saskatoon. Quickly, we're going to have over 100,000 people in the community around the swale area that has to be conserved. We are losing our wetlands, we're losing our grasslands. There's probably only about 5% left in the province. When we drain these areas, we have a problem. They're a sponge. They are able to take runoff that's coming from the different communities, and the city is using it as a stormwater runoff, which is great. So it'll clean the water before it goes back into the river. Our water in this river goes downriver and eventually ends up in Lake Winnipeg. And Lake Winnipeg is at a eutrophication stage. So everybody along the river has to really support cleaning the water as it comes through. So that education and that interpretation in the area, we have lots of brochures and material on it. We're meeting with all the schools in the area, meeting with the communities in the area. The people in those areas have to be stewards of the grassland in the same way, or the wetland, the swale, in the same way that the people in Silver Spring and Mother Teresa School and the students there and their families are stewards of the Saskatoon natural grasslands. And it's the only way we're going to get conservation is through community understanding and education.
Doug, I think everything that you've mentioned today is spot on and laser focused, and I want to thank you for taking the time and helping all of us understand the importance of it. I think a lot of us know that, but until we're faced with the potential of maybe losing it, that we don't want to see that happen. So thank you for making time for us today.
This is great being here. Your support is wonderful. Do you like my tie?
I do.
You got a great tie.
Best one I've seen yet.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. We'll be right back.